The NBA draft has concluded, and the Miami Heat made just one selection in the first round. They did not move up to the second round and make another pick. And on today's show, we're going to give my full Miami Heat draft grades, and we'll even talk about in depth about the prospect Miami took and a couple of UDFA names that are leaking with a full list out tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. But my draft grade for Miami, I like, it's an A+. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it just is. I've been very open about this. Them getting Kasparas Jakucionis with the 20th overall spot is just absolutely ridiculous value. It was the second best value pick of the draft, in my opinion, and this is unbiased. The other one, the best one, was Rasheer Fleming going to Phoenix because I had Jakucionis 6th on my big board. He took him at 20, so it's a plus 14 value on my board. This is just me, by the way. Then the Suns got Rasheer Fleming at 31. I had him 14th on my board, so that's plus 17. So just trailing that pick there, but the Heat desperately needed a point guard of the future that can play make for Bam and Kel'el Ware in the pick and roll, and they needed a backcourt partner for Tyler Hero. Check and check with Kasparas Jakucionis. We are going to dive into him more as a prospect, and I mentioned that just here about the UDFAs in a second. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel for daily content. We'll have a full UDFA list out on the channel tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that, plus the latest free agency rumors, trade rumors, and we'll be live during free agency as well next week, so make sure you join us. Jakucionis, let's talk about the Lithuanian guard here because I just can't get enough of him. And I made my eyes bleed last night watching highlights until about 1:30 in the morning my time, which is 2:30 your time, folks, if you're on the East Coast. He is about 6'6" with shoes. He is just such a good playmaker. Sure, does he turn the ball over a lot? Yeah. Am I going to be upset about a 19-year-old true freshman guard turning it over in the Big Ten? No, and why should you be concerned about that? He has a +3 wingspan, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he didn't shoot that well from three. He shot 31.8% from the beyond the arc. But guess what? He shot 35.8% on step-back three. So he's actually a better off-the-dribble shooter than off the catch, which means he's probably going to be able to work into having a pretty solid stroke off of the catch, which is very enticing for me. And then, like, I saw come across my timeline, in the 15 games to start off the season for Jakucionis before he injured his forearm, he ended up shooting 42% from three and 50% from the field. You wonder how much that injury actually limited him in terms of his ability to shoot the ball from beyond the arc and in the mid-range, but he's crafty, he's nifty, gets to the rim. He shot 84.5% from the free throw line, had a 26% assist rate, and he just was forced into such a massive usage role in that Illinois offense to where it's like half the time you watch the film, it's kind of like, yo, Yak, run the pick and roll and create everything for us. Yo, Yak, run ISO and do everything for us on this offensive possession because we couldn't do anything and now there's 8 on the shot clock. And it was forced into him, like, putting up a lot of tough shots because he was capable of doing it early in the season. But as the Big Ten year went on, it became more and more difficult. So I believe that with more NBA talent around him and getting to play alongside a 25-point-per-game scorer and an all-star in Tyler Hero will do that, a multi-time all-star in Bam Adebayo, and the threat at the rim that Kel'el Ware possesses, plus the other shooting Miami has, like, they just won't be able to convince me that this isn't a bad pick or isn't a good pick. And I tweeted out, it caused some heavy traction. I said that I believe this pick will ultimately change the trajectory of the Miami Heat. Caught some slack for it, but that's what I believe. And people are saying I got to relax and I'm overvaluing him so much. I don't think I am, and I'll explain why here in a second. But grab your 2025 Miami Heat draft hats. Jakucionis wore this exact hat when he walked across the stage. If you want to get yours today, go to chatsports.com/Heat2025 draft hats. You can also get a bucket hat version. You saw that black curved brim version. There's 3 different ones you can get, all different sizes to fit your melon. One more time, chatsports.com/Heat2025 draft hats. That link is in the description and comments of today's video. So before we move over to some UDFAs that Miami have already added to the group, I want to talk about Jakucionis in one final light and why he is changing the trajectory of Miami. I think he's going to be ahead. And his able to play make in the pick and roll is exactly what Miami needed. It is not a player that I say this lightly with, but he moves almost like Luka Doncic light. And I'm not saying he's going to become Luka Doncic. Not saying that whatsoever. A lot of people say he moves like Goran Dragic. I don't even agree with that. The point is that he has that play style of like the not going to beat you with athleticism, going to beat you with angles, craftiness, being able to get around you and finish with the right hand and the left hand, be able to give you a little bump and a little hit a step back midi. He's physical. He has got a good size to him, man. 6'6", 205. You don't have to worry about him putting on weight. He is already strong. He's already a physical player that battles on the glass. I mean, he averages 6 boards a game as a 19-year-old point guard in the Big Ten. That is impressive stuff to me, man. Like, he is going to fight on the glass. He is a fiery spirit that's a competitor. And I know, it's like, well, you're overvaluing him. He's not going to be able to play right away. And you're already one of those Heat fans that won't trade him for a star. Won't say that whatsoever. If the Heat were to somehow be able to upgrade the point guard position with a massive star a la Ja Morant or someone in that caliber, I would absolutely be willing to trade Kasparas Jakucionis. I want that very much on the record. I just think if he stays in Miami, he is going to hit. And I do not value these players and picks that highly. If you go back the past couple of years we've had the channel, I graded Jaime Jaquez Jr.'s pick at 18 at a B-. Grade Kel'el Ware's pick last year 15 at a B+. This one knocks those two out of the park without a question, in my opinion. It's the biggest need for Miami coming into this offseason. They found the best value at the biggest position of need. I'm supposed to be upset about that? Come on now. That's why I give it an A+. All right, before we round out the video, couple players that have already signed in undrafted free agency with Miami. Full list coming out tomorrow. But at the time of filming this, Vlad Golden, 7-foot center from Michigan. Big fan of this UDFA signing. Miami already gave him a 2-way contract. We'll break him more down in depth tomorrow. He was a draftable player. He was a top 50 player on my board. I'll be fascinated to see him fit and maybe even fight for a backup center role on the actual roster in Miami. We also saw them give an Exhibit 10 contract to Steve Settle III, who rose up boards, 6'11", shot 42% from 3 for Temple last season. He worked out for Miami super late in the process. The Summer League roster for Miami has kind of already been announced. One more name I'll throw at you before we close out the show and do this more in depth tomorrow. Kira Lewis. Former first-round pick out of Alabama, an unbelievably shifty guard who's got blazing speed but has just never been able to figure out his jump shot, turns the ball over, and is a little bit smaller guy. But he was a former first-round pick out of Alabama, pretty much out of the league. He's going to get a chance to showcase himself again on the Miami Heat Summer League roster. At least that is currently what he has right now. Who knows? Maybe if he gets a better opportunity, he leaves. But right now, he's going to the Heat's roster on the Summer League tryout. All right. Heat made one pick. I gave it an A+. Kasparas Jakucionis at 20. Grade the Miami Heat's 2025 NBA Draft A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be live on the channel for free agency, and we'll have videos going out over the weekend. Tomorrow with UDFAs. Latest free agency rumors and free agency targets coming out over the next couple of days. Subscribe and be on the lookout for that. See you on those videos. Go Heat.